afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, December 23rd, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have our wrap-up call tonight at 9 p.m. on the new technology, and so we can clarify everything, get everybody on the same page. And that'll be at 9 p.m., and we'll probably lock that call a few minutes after the hour. And this will be on this number. The day on which we come to know the Supreme Consciousness within us, then the outside world will also appear to us like the expanse of the Supreme Consciousness. The whole will be a mirror to us when we become a mirror within. The whole will be a mirror to us when we become a mirror within. If we stand near a stone, then we will be able to see ourselves even in the stone. Then we will not look at the stone, that the hardness with which we look at a man now. Then we shall touch a stone as if we are touching our beloved, because the stone is not stone, then it is God. Osho. One of the highest experiences any of us can have in our lifetimes is to know ourselves as the divine. When we let go of all fear, drop every judgment that we have, release all those opinions about ourselves and others, we stop believing we are separate from divinity. We can discover a place of sacred refuge within that is like no other. It's only our minds that makes us think we're separate when in reality we are one with the ocean of existence. And it's not until we realize that we are not this mind nor this ego that this false identity ceases to run the show. We've created this idea about who we are, yet it's just a conglomerate of thoughts and is not who we truly are. Once we drop all separation, only then can we let go and find true permanent peace within. Some people may say it's blasphemous to see yourself as divinity. Yet I say it's totally ridiculous not to. The cause of all suffering in this life stems from the one tiny little idea that we are separate from the source of divinity. When this belief is truly challenged and we relieve its grip on us, there is such a tremendous freedom and love found that we will never, ever be the same again. I invite you to sit with this challenge during the course of the next week. And if you truly want to be free from all suffering in your life, here's some suggestions which will allow each of you to find total unification with divinity. First, we must choose to deeply accept in our core that there exists a highly intelligent, conscious, creative source of energy that runs through everything. God exists, divinity exists, and divine intelligence exists. We must choose to feel divinity. Feel divinity. It is like one single thread that is weaving itself throughout every fiber of the entire tapestry of this universe. There is nothing and no person that is not connected intimately with this divine intelligence. There is nothing and no person that is not connected intimately with this divine intelligence. Next, we must choose to know individually our own personal connection with divinity. This is a very intimate understanding that comes only from within oneself. We must choose to understand that this is the connection from where all manifestation happens. Meaning, We are connected to an infinite field of divine intelligent energy, this universe, where each separate individual throughout the field is the actual center of the entire field. When you realize that you are one of these infinite points from which the entire universe revolves around, you realize every thought you think is connecting and creating your experience of reality in this infinite field. You realize that you are an all-powerful, super-manifesting being who has no limits on what you can attract and create. And lastly, we come to realize that everyone and everything is the same all-powerful source of divinity. Even though the mind may judge others, there is nobody who is not connected to divinity. How can the finger ever work separately from the hand? All beings have this divine thread of intelligence running through their consciousness, no matter how unconscious they are. It still exists within each living cell. Once you realize that the divine self, that you are, that all of us are, is also the same divinity, period. You stop perceiving yourself as separate, and you see them as an aspect of the infinite self, the real you. So the really big question here is this: what can we do to drop the ego? Well, as I've said, this is a tricky one because there is nothing you can physically do. The ego, our egos, are an illusion, just like a shadow. What can we do to get rid of our shadows? We can't do anything. We simply stop focusing on it and redirect our attention back to the light. By simply stopping all association with over-identification with the I or little me, we dismantle the ego and become free. The I thought truly believes it is limited, small, powerless, and separate from the source. We can attest to this as we have all sorts of problems and issues in our lives that seem very real. We don't normally feel like an unlimited, all-powerful divine source of energy because we are very attached to our egos and its limiting belief system. The thoughts that say, I am this or I am not that, create our entire ego trip. Once we let them go and stop identifying with them, then we are free from the shadow. So enlightenment is more of an internal game of unraveling our small, false self and rediscovering the bigger truth, which is that we also mainly, this unlimited, infinite, vast, all-powerful self. It feels quite blasphemous. And is truly quite humbling, to say the least. To fully awaken from the ego, we must release our identification with every positive and negative belief we have wrapped around us. All ideas are limiting ideas. Even the idea that I am God does not have a limitless experience within it. There are so many fixed ideas about what God is and what God is not, that the subconscious mind will still find a way to cling to something limiting. When we let go of all ideas, because they are all just thoughts away anyway, a very magical thing occurs to realize we are timeless. The very moment the ego is freed from every single idea, then there is only a total surrender to the infinite, eternal aspect of our being. And this is the moment when divinity pours into you. It is a feeling of pure ecstasy. We stop being so easily hooked into believing I am XYZ or not ZYX because we feel how it instantly creates suffering. Most everyone we will ever meet in our lives is living in suffering. So the idea that we could become free from this suffering and life without it will seem like we're some fish deciding to get out of the pond and walk over the land and dive into the real ocean. Every human being will have some sort of negative or positive reaction to you actually giving up your suffering, your ego. When they meet you, it is an event that is life-changing. When you meet someone who is free from their ego completely, the greatest truths in this life are radical and truly mind-blowing. The greatest truth that you may ever discover on this spiritual path is that you are nothing, everything, and the meeting of these two polarities. The mind is too small of a container to hold all three of these great truths. It is only the heart and the soul can feel the truth within them, because this is where we feel our connection with divinity. We are divinity, and beyond all ideas of divinity, simply surrender to that we are divinity, and beyond all ideas of divinity. The only way to know ourselves as divinity is to become unidentified with everything, and also know that we are one with everything at the same time. This realization cannot be forced, yet happens instantaneously when we drop deep enough into the exploration of the truth of who and what we are. God is there only if you surrender. Surrender makes anything God. Surrender gives you the eyes, and everything that is brought to these eyes becomes divine. Okay. We all grow up as kids, forming our egos around age 7. This is the human experience. We create this ego so that later in life we can transcend it. This is the spiritual method and madness of awakening. When we believe we are separate and disconnected from a divine, all-loving, infinite source and think there is no connection at all, we return to divinity. It becomes even more juicy and amazing. We will each experience this reunification when the physical body ceases. Yet the trick is discovering before our human time has ended. That's the key. That's the trick. Discovering before these bodies end. We are supposed to believe that our limitations are real. We need to believe in the illusion of lack and struggle, just so one mystical day we can drop it all. This is the purpose of believing in a lie. We need to believe in the illusion of lack and struggle, just so that one mystical day we can drop it all. This is the purpose of believing in a lie. When we create the illusion that we are stuck, separate, challenged, and disconnected from the infinitely conscious, loving source, the day we return back to it, we receive the greatest spiritual experience of our lives. Divine unification on the deepest levels wouldn't be possible without the illusion and experience of having an ego. It is all perfectly orchestrated, the most divine plan we can imagine, so there is really nothing to worry about. There are already life-transforming seeds in our subconscious minds, which will sprout and grow into trees of abundance, love, creativity, superior health, and unlimited potentiality inside each and every one of us. The good news is that the universe gives us an infinite number of lifetimes to wake up and realize we are already a powerful, divine, exquisite being who already contains the essential fabric of the divine universe at its core. What more could we want? The universe is already infinitely patient, and the speed of our realization, progress of this. We don't need to push ourselves to become a better person. or even to become free from suffering. Our future self is already enlightened. All we need to do is relax, be present, show up authentically in the moment, and we will feel all of our past and future lifetimes come through us. We can do this. Just try being 100% open to whatever is here now. Be open to whoever and whatever is happening in your life right now. Open yourself up to existence. Let everything and everyone into your heart, as if you were actually opening up to the divine. This enlightening opening up practice is about trust, trusting in a greater, more intimate connection with this life. Divinity is also within the most resistant aspects of your being. And yes, even those parts of you who are saying no to being loved. Look deep enough and you will find divinity. This absolute opening up experience creates a vulnerability in your ego, which is the only place where a permanent state of connection to divinity, deep eternal love, can reside. It is where the path to instant manifestation in the material world and the spiritual enlightenment are both found. It is the secret we've been searching for our entire lives. Opening ourselves up fully is finding this real, uncompromised, deep, eternal, loving happiness 24 hours a day. This is the main goal of our lives and why we are truly here. It is good to know that this life will always throw a curveball at us to keep us alert and awake. The mind is a slippery trickster, and that it can hide from the truth and create all sorts of fabricated illusions about what truth is, without really surrendering to what is here now. It's this untamed mind that it creates all the extra difficulty we are experiencing in life. It can make us think that if we are not the master, then we are a slave to its ideas. It may also think if we sat down to relax for a moment, we would miss our one and only golden opportunity to freedom that will never come our way again. Some people will ask, what's the difference between my mind and my ego? Well, not much. It's just that your ego is the personification of your mind. The mind gets attached to the physical body and thinks that it is all it is. The body makes you identified. And with the mind and vice versa, and this game of attachment is what creates the ego. When we are thinking that we are the body and we have these problems, these feelings, and these thoughts, we start becoming identified and lose the connection with our infinite selves. The best advice that you may ever receive from any guru is don't touch the mind. Don't listen to the mind. Don't believe in anything that it thinks. The mind can only live in duality, and this is an illusion. One day the mind will love your mate. The next day hate your mate. The mind swings like a pendulum, cannot be trusted. It only knows polarity and how to believe that the opposite is not true. Everything that exists in the mind is subject to change. It is only when you master the mind, bring the mind to stillness through meditation, that you can tame the mind, make it realize that you are its master. Then amazing and miraculous things begin to happen. You'll find that the only true foundation in this life is your simple, soft, loving, sweet presence that arises from consciousness itself. This pure consciousness never changes everything. Everything else changes. This pure consciousness never changes. Everything else changes. By simply being in pure consciousness, each moment becomes our golden ticket to return home to the heart. Remember, whenever your ego behaves in a destructive way, it is really trying to relieve you of its burden. Deep down, the ego knows that it is not real and that one day it will cease. And you'll realize that a great sham was pulled over your eyes. When you leave the body, and God Source takes you back home, this ego will be gone forever. Never again will your ego and personality exist. Yet, you don't have to wait for its ending. You can transcend the ego now and return to the source of love. So the more we begin to understand the ego, now ego is an ally. We can master it through meditation, through stilling the mind. And you still the mind through meditation and your breath. The breath is the now. The now stills the mind. All the mind chatter, all the ego activity is stilled because you are not interacting with it. You're not entertaining it. Huge difference. And all it is a commitment to oneself. I will find time to relax during the course of my day. I will find time to be in meditation. You can be in walking meditation. You don't necessarily have to close your eyes and sit in one place and quiet. You can be in walking meditation. You could go to a park. You could take a walk and be in meditation. It is amazing. It isn't constrictive. It is completely open. And this is why we all go to a place we aren't going to be interrupted. And close our eyes and focus on our breath and relax our bodies. And by doing this, you're leaving the ego mind alone and the subconscious mind alone. You're only focused on that breath. And that breath is the now. And that breath is all we have. We don't have yesterday, and we don't have tomorrow. We only have now. And that relaxes the body. When you let go, you surrender. Many of us have issues as far as with ourselves. We have concerns. We have irritants. We absorb these bodies absorb like super magnets. They're constantly drawing in things, storing them in our subconscious mind. They don't have to be anything to do with us. These thoughts, most of them aren't ours. And remember, when you receive a thought, it is not yours. It's the clouds in the sky passing by. That's what these thoughts are like. And there's millions of them. And none of us are exempt, that we live other people's thoughts. We create them into reality, and then we experience them. Have you ever noticed that sometimes you go, this doesn't feel right. This cannot be my thought. Some of us unconsciously embrace another thought of someone else that floats by, and we just say to ourselves, this isn't how I really am. This isn't how I really believe myself to be. And at times we have that feeling, that understanding. And then we begin to realize that wasn't my thought. It's tricky, though. It is tricky for all of us. Because a lot of the times we don't know that we're doing it. We think it's our thought. Our name's attached to it. It's got to be our thought. But when you send the thought out, that's your thought. When you say, this is what I want, universe, this is what I want, and you let it go. Or you feel good. That's your thought. But that's where you move into the now, focus on the breath, and you focus just on the breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Easy and slowly. And this is how we master the ego mind. Even though the mind is an illusion that creates the ego to assist it, is also an illusion. And like I stated, when we leave these bodies, that ego and mind are forever gone. That personality, that character, and that body are forever gone. They will not exist again. Not in the now. So we relax the body, and we know that we're not the body. We are the God within the body. so we can look at the body. And when you look inside that body that you're in, you see these 7 lights. And they're lights. They're deep, all different colors. And the vibrancy that we don't see on this planet. And there's spiritual etheric energy. We, the gods that we are spiritual etheric energy. So these lights are called, on this planet, chakras. Definition of chakra is wheel. These are wheels of light. We, the God that we are in the body, flow through those wheels of light. And these wheels of light are connected to everything in the body. Emotion, right? Physical, mental, everything. All connected, flowing constantly. We know these bodies, as the gods that we are, better than anything possible can. We know how the blood flows. We know right down to the quantum quark. We know every single operation. We know what's wrong when it's wrong. We know what's wrong before it's wrong. Now imagine this. This civilization will come to the understanding that it will be able to heal the body it's in. Almost instantaneously. Not there yet, but we're moving in that direction. Now, we're consciously aware, and a lot of people go, what's consciously aware, man? I'm consciously aware right now. I see you. I'm talking with you. Consciously aware that we are of and from the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, purest of the purest, purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. We know that that's what we are. And we know that there are parts of us, the gods that we are, that are asleep. We're not going to wake them up. They wake up when they choose to wake up. There are other parts of us that are awake, consciously aware, to a certain extent. Those are the parts of us that we interact with on a second-to-second basis. It doesn't matter if a part of us is 1 billion light years away. Remember, the physical vessel isn't the life. The God within it is the life. Without the God within it, it would not function. It would not exist. We are the life support of all physical vessels that we inhabit, as is all the gods that inhabit all physical vessels. We are the life support of that vessel. Talking with people who have left the body a period of time, went back in. The body wasn't functioning. And we were still attached to it. And then as they begin to resuscitate the body, the electrical spark engages. We go back in and keep the body powered. Now, if you find yourself standing in front of 3 paths, there's 3 circles. One in the center that you're standing on right now, one on the left, one on the right. The one that you're standing on, the center, looks brand new. I mean, you're looking at this path ahead of you, and you see these shimmering golden trees, and the branches and the leaves and everything are shimmering gold, and you see this beautiful emerald green grass path, and it looks like it hasn't even been walked upon. Now, the one on the left, which is the past, looks very worn and used. The one on the right, which is the future, looks very worn and used. Now, we all reminisce and we have memories, and we embrace those memories. They're fun to reminisce, nostalgia, things that we've done and experienced in our lives. And we go into our private library or subconscious mind, and then what do? We open the book, we read, we look at the pictures, and then some of the things we visit aren't too great that we remember. But then we close the book and we leave the room and we move forward. But some of us, and I don't believe it's consciously, I believe it's unconsciously, is that we stay there too long. And we stay there so long that we bring that past into a future that doesn't exist. We create that future from that past, and we relive that past in that future. So a lot of people will say to themselves, no matter what we do, we always seem to end up here. And a lot of us will go into a future that doesn't exist, the right path, the one on the right side. But it doesn't exist because we're creating it in the now. And many of us don't know that we're creating it in the now. We think it's a separate place, but it isn't. It is in the now. Everything's in the now. But we still go there nonetheless, and we ask ourselves questions, and we ask external authority questions in hopes that it will answer our questions. When am I going to be healthy enough to enjoy my life? When am I going to have enough money to enjoy my life? When am I going to get a better job? When am I going to meet the love of my life? When am I going to have my dream house? When am I going to have this? When is this going to happen? And we all do that. And see, it's all about suffering, too, because we suffer. But we realize that only the now is where we're at peace. Only the now is where we stop suffering. Because in the now, we have no expectations and no attachments. But that's only in the now. Now, we know, all of us know this, you could be in the now, moment to moment, with your breath. And all of a sudden, you're somewhere else. You wander off. And it's like those clouds passing by, other people's thoughts, programs, that we kind of grab onto, and it just takes us off. This is when it's very important to understand that to be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself, and to be in deep, eternal gratitude 24/7. Always. And this way you just say to yourself, okay, so I've wandered off, not a big deal. I'll focus on my breath and I'll be in the now. To be in the now always is our direction. It's commitment that we make to ourselves because it connects us much more intimately and deeply with the gods that we are. You can never be separate, the God that you are. That's why these bodies give us the illusion of being separate. But as gods, we're not separate. We're one. And we always will be one. Now, we know that we are the soul, the source, the kingdom of God, the heaven, however you deem the God within that body, whatever label. And when we enter these bodies, we power them up. Everything starts working. The lungs start producing the breath, which is sacred, because of the body. The soul gives the body the power to be able to sustain the body, to hold the soul, that the soul can experience the physical life. Now we know, consciously aware that we're heaven on earth. Soul the heaven, body the earth, and every step we physically take in these bodies are creating paradise. Not only that, we're shining our light, the God force, love, light, energy within each of our bodies. That is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest, deepest, and the purest of the purest, purest eternal love. And we're blasting everything, nonstop, infinity, with that love. All life, the highest supreme value in the universe is right now. So if you were to take a starship off planet, you were to go on outer space, and you were to look at this planet in its entirety, you would see that it glowed. Not only that, you would notice that the lights around it in this universe would be dim in comparison, almost like a lit candle in a dark room, dim. And so this is a God planet paradise that glows, and it is the brightest light in existence. And of course, there are other bright lights and other planetary systems, because we're all one. Now, we communicate with the parts of ourselves that are consciously aware. Obviously, the ones that are asleep are with us too, because they're parts of us, the gods that we are. Now, that's all of the light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever, beyond, and forever. That's the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, the archetypes. Ascended masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain. Christ, El Moria, Abundantia, Pel, Thoth, Yahweh, Yeshua. All of our loved ones who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. All the off-worlders, the galactics, the celestials. All of the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, Agartha, and beneath earth. All of our loved ones who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. Now, all the light energy beings on and above and below this planet, of which the majority we never see because of the eyes that we have with these bodies. We only see 1% of what is. So they come in shapes, color, sizes, forms, configurations, both in many different light spectrums, including the UV and the infrared. Now, we are familiar with a small group of them. And some of this group we interact with on a daily basis. They help these bodies continue. Fairies, sprites, elves, gnomes, dwarves, trees, trolls, elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood, the mermaid, dolphin, the whale, Pegasus, unicorn, centaur, and minotaur. Could these bodies we're in survive without air? Nope. Could they survive without water? Nope. Probably couldn't survive without wood or fire. There's an intimate interaction there with these bodies and the magics, the elementals. Now, the archangels, their civilization vibrated at a different frequency than we do. This is why we don't see them like we see each other. Now, you can interact with them. We do a lot in many lifetimes. Sometimes we know, sometimes we don't. But there's times that we do know without a question. We'll interact out of a random conversation with a complete stranger. Later on, it dawns on us that that wasn't just a regular conversation. That was a communication with an angel. And we feel bliss. We experience it. And they deliver a message. And the message is delivered in many different ways. But this is what it means. Isn't it absolutely magna glorious to be alive in these bodies? And it is. And it's blissful. Because we don't eat. As gods, we don't eat. We don't taste. We don't smell. We don't laugh. We don't cry. We don't walk with legs. We don't have vocal cords. And I think a lot of us don't realize this because a lot of us don't know we are gods in the body. And how much we do take for granted in these bodies. Every second of our existence within them. But then, see, they're so seductive that we enter them and that we become so connected with them that we almost believe that we are them instead of the God that we truly are within the body. That's why they keep delivering the message to remind us how absolutely magna-glorious it is to be in a body, to experience this physical existence, to interact with each other. Now, they can surround any one of us at any one time in the tens of thousands, tens of millions. Reason is because of their vibrational frequency, they can hold a large number in a small area. And if you wish, and you ask them, you'd like them to surround you, within a blink of the eye, they'll be there. And you'll experience bliss. Now, the Ascended Masters, they've ascended into physical, mastered physical. They've ascended out of physical, hold pure consciousness, God form. We have ascended into physical. We are in the process of mastering physical, creating our experiences to perfect our creations. Now, the off-worlders, the celestials, the galactics, we're only familiar with a handful of them, a small group. Over 1,000 species travel through the solar system every day. Trillions throughout the universes every day. And this particular group, the Pleiadians, the Sirians, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, felines, Eta Reticuli, Anunnaki, Nords, Greys, Draco, Reptilian, Golden Pyramid, Avian, they've been assisting us in our evolution, enlightenment, ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. And no matter if we're a billion light years that seems that we're separated, we are not. We are one. And we are all here, many consciously aware, focused on this planet, in this now, for its complete liberation. Every cranny, every nook, every crevice of lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies is being eliminated, expunged. They cannot stand and hold their presence in higher vibrational frequency, which is deep, eternal love, the highest of the highest high. They cannot. This is why we're experiencing such a massive transition on this planet in this very moment now. They are dissipating, vaporizing. We're all in full compassion, non-judgment, non-negativity, non-ego, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. And we're all one. And we're all God. And we're all love. And our God force, love, light, energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And it continues to intensify. And it continues to expand. We immediately form a circle of light around the equator of this planet, Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. Where is this light emanating from? The gods that we are within these bodies. The God source.
At 2 o'clock.
And it is the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest. Eternal love. It's flooding this planet. All life, the highest supreme value in the universes. Head to toe, inside and out. Through infinity and beyond. We begin to ascend above the planet, and we're immediately met with this massive ocean of glitter. And the only way to describe this ocean of glitter is to combine 3 visions. One is magnificent, spectacular, grand finale fireworks of which we've never laid eyes upon. 2, a massive laser light show, unbeknownst to anything that we've ever seen on this planet. And 3, a mirrored globe that we see in ballrooms, reflecting many different colored lights. But this globe is 1 trillion times larger and 1 trillion times more intense. Now you combine all those, this is what it's like to view. It's absolutely spectacular. And we're curious, so we look at the reflective points, and we get close, and we notice these little tiny microscopic mirrors, perfectly etched. We enter them, and we discover this unending infinity of interaction between all of us and all existence and beyond. Learning and teaching and learning, constantly. No matter how the God is housed, no matter what physical vessel the God chooses to experience, it is the life. It isn't the vessel. The God gives the vessel life. Parts of ourselves teaching each other on a continual basis throughout infinity. Imagine that. And when you view this and you see it as the gods that we are, you get this real deep spark of deep eternal love and gratitude and peace. Because now you know the tree isn't the life, it's the God within the tree. The bug isn't the life in the rug, it's the God within the bug. The dog isn't the life, it's the God within the dog, or the cat, or the bear, or the bird. And we're always teaching each other. We're always learning from each other, with each other. This is something that this civilization has not come full view of yet. Then we stop judging the surface. And then we start loving the God within each and every single thing of which we are. We're immediately met with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all that we're the power of healing. We're then met with the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve as the gods that we are. We are then met with the white fire. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all that from head to toe, inside and out, through infinity and beyond, we are protected. Nothing can penetrate this armor, this white fire armor. Nothing like the armor on this planet, way beyond. No lower dark matter, survival matter frequency can affect it. No demon can penetrate it. No attachment, no possession. We are completely protected. Yet, only you have the power that if you decide to lower your vibrational frequencies low enough, whether consciously or unconsciously, your hatred, anger, greed, fear, revenge, manipulation, dishonesty, worry, stress, fear, you will create a breach in your white fire armor, enough so to allow lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flooding in. Then there are many possibilities of attachment, possession, many things through the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies. Now, if you do decide to do this, you are immediately met with a double column of light. First part of this column, we created it to remind us all that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame. We can transmute all these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutral light substance, sending them to pure consciousness, where they are, no more. The other part of this column of light is the violet ray. We created this part of the column of light to remind us all that we can bring in the violet ray right behind the purple transmuting flame, cleanse and purify the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor, restoring our vibrational harmony from the highest to the highest high, deepest to the deepest deepest, purest to the purest purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. We are then met with the golden white pink light. This is the column that we've all created to remind the soul, the gods that we are in these bodies, that we are the sun. We are the sunlight. We are the sunset and the sunrises. We are the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams. We are the skies, the clouds. We are the trees, the forests, the soils, the animals, the rain, the rainbows. We're everything. Everything is us. So the next time that you view a starry lit night sky, a rainbow, a snowfall, an ocean front, a mountain view, it is you. It is not like what many do on this planet. Oh, isn't that a beautiful sunrise or a beautiful sunset? You're missing. You're the majesty. You're the beauty. You're the splendor. You're the divineness, the divinity. When you see it, you look at it, and you say, that is the God that I am. And this is heart mind, not ego mind. And through your heart, that is the God that I am. You see the intimate relationship that we have with all the pieces of the God. All of us. There is no separation. That separation is an illusion. We continue to ascend above the planet. As we do, we come into full contact with this massive crystalline light tower. We created it. It's larger than this solar system and beyond. In the center of the column, we see this massive oblong sphere. In the center of the sphere, we see this golden white bowl of light. It is surrounded by numerous rings of multicolored light, which seem to never end. And it's all has created this super white, massive, cloudy mist, and you can see it sparkling, reflecting. You can see little electrical arcs in it, and it's absorbed through our heart minds and through the chest. And it is like a warm embrace that never ends. The golden white bowl of light is the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love. Then comes gratitude. Then comes peace, well-being, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness. Bliss, joy, tranquility, benevolence, great prosperity, great abundance. And we discover that all of this is a reflection of the gods that we are. At the top of this crystalline light tower, we designed it so the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees, infinity, and beyond. And this golden ocean is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal love. And we're all being flooded in this eternal love. All life, the highest supreme value in the universe. On and above and below this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. We are drops of this golden ocean. We also hold the essence of this golden ocean. Golden ocean is the drops, drops are the golden ocean. And the only illusion for any of us is separation. We see our meditative sphere. It's at center circle. We created this sphere going on 4 years ago. It holds over 1,700 of our meditations in perpetual motion. Hundreds of millions of us on and off world gathered with the exact intent of liberating this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, from the grip of the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies. Every day, 7 days a week, going on 4 years, collectively, we are shifting the frequencies of this planet and beyond, into the higher and higher and higher realms of existence. And this cannot be stopped, cannot be interrupted, cannot be slowed. It is gaining momentum. It is gaining the energy. The more of us that wake up, the more accelerated it becomes. And nothing is limited and never will be. That's the ego mind that all of us are beginning to master through meditation, through leaving it, stilling the mind, the ego, and the subconscious mind. These meditations, you can bathe yourself in them anytime you choose. Step back from your desires today, yet don't resist them. Just take a small step back from being in such a demand or need to fulfill your desires. Notice that trying to fulfill them doesn't actually make you happy. Go deeper than you've ever gone before into letting everything in the universe, this universe, be exactly as it is, by allowing everything, including your life, to be okay as it is. You stop chasing the mind and it is desires. Letting is allowing, which is to be in this place of alert, playful, witnessing consciousness of enlightened beings. I'll join you in the meditation and return to close us out. Take an easy breath in through the nose and an easy breath out through the mouth. Move easily and slowly. It's almost as if you're frozen in time. Practice seeing everyone as being free from their egos. See yourself as being free from your ego mind. And sit sometime today for an hour, knowing you are not this ego. The ego is an illusion of ideas about who you are and who you are not. The residual self-image is just an image, a mirage, and not the real you. Simply practice seeing that you are egoless, free, and without borders or boundaries. Let go of all ideas about you today and be non-attached to whatever outcomes that show up in your future. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and into the following morning. We will return here Friday, December 24th, Christmas Eve, at 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call.